and welcome to the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, an initiative by ET Edge. I am Ashwani Mishra, bringing to you conversation with CXOs over a cup of chai as we try to find out interesting insights into their personal and professional journey over the years, key influencers and lessons learned, their hobbies and such engaging topics. Joining me today is Shruti Kashyap, Chief Information Officer at Hindustan Unilever and Head of IT South Asia at Unilever. Welcome, Shruti, on Cutting Chai Stories.
Thank you so much, Ashwini, for having me.
It's a pleasure to host you, Shruti. For any Indian child, and who has ambitions of becoming an engineer, getting into an IIT looks like the pinnacle of achievement. So it certainly didn't look that way to you, but things didn't go exactly as planned. How did this incident shape you for your future course?
Sure. So, I come from, the usual urban middle class family where a lot of importance is given to academics. And throughout, I was brought up in that manner of ensuring that I'm working hard, and I was a very disciplined child, not the troublemaker at all.
Right.
Always into my books and studies, and always getting the best marks in school. So at the top of the class. So even with board exams, the same thing in 10th and 12th. And once you have that kind of performance associated with you, the society tends to have certain expectations. And it was almost expected that she should ideally go to an IIT and an IIM, and then work some top class job at a top class corporate, etc. And when the society expects, you also start thinking in a similar manner. But somewhere I think, obviously that didn't work out for me. So I'm not from an IIT, I'm not from an IIM, and those were disappointments. But I think those disappointments shaped me into what I am today, because one, it was about, just understanding that, that tag is not the end of the world, right? The world is still always going to be full of opportunities. And it's fine, you may not make it to your dream college or your dream institute, but you can always pick yourself up, go to probably the next best or the next best, and still be able to make a career of your choice, and still be able to love the work that you do. And I think that's really sort of my key learning, that I may not have made it to the institutes that were supposedly the dream institutes that I should have gone to, but I think everything happens for a reason. And if I look back, I ended up doing my engineering and MBA, and I ended up landing a great job with Unilever, and now I am the CIO here, which just is something that I'm extremely grateful for the journey.
Right. So very well put, Shruti. So life is full of opportunities, and that was a key enabler in the way you looked at the outlook that you had at that point in time. Did you always decide to pursue a career in technology, or was this the only option that you had?
No, so I think again, there is a little bit of herd mentality that comes in when you grow in that Indian middle class society. Obviously, I'm glad a lot of that is changing. But typically, if you are a reasonably good student at school, people would expect you to become a doctor or an engineer, and then work somewhere really well, etc. I don't think I ever planned it out that way. I think throughout I always had a passion for technology, but things just happened to fall in a manner where I ended up doing an internship where it was all about leveraging technology to create business value. And then over a period of time, the way the landscape evolved, with the big four coming in, Microsoft, Google, Apple, they've truly changed the landscape of what technology means to the world. And now in the current day and age, if you look at any startup, we say Uber is essentially at heart a technology company, Big Basket is a technology company.
True.
So without technology, you really can't run the business. It's no longer seen as a support function. It's truly an enabler for business growth. And therefore, for me, technology really gives that option to be able to almost, understand aspects of many different industries and bring the best of that into what I do, at my job. So that's how I would really put it. So a lot of it was just, purely by chance, because I took up that internship and it just, sort of inclined me towards a certain way, but definitely not something that I had planned for in advance.
Right, right. You mentioned about joining Unilever as a trainee, in way back 2005, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. Yes.
You joined the company officially in 2006, and
Yeah.
you've been a part of this organization since the last 15 odd years now. So especially at a time when we see a lot of movements that happen, with the IT leadership, and especially the CIO roles. So you've stayed for long. What have been the learnings over the years? What made you stick to this company for long, Shruti?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, honestly, actually, that's a question I get a lot. And, I always say that, there are probably 500 reasons I can list on
Okay.
why I have stuck with Unilever. But I'll give you probably, the top two or three. I think one is that really the opportunities I got. So, I kept moving from role to role every 2 years. So when I started off, I was in a very core transactional area like finance, running SAP. Then I moved into the sales technology team, and I delivered some, cutting edge work around analytics and how we sell in the market, and then some work around the rural team and how we enhance our distribution. Then I moved into an area which was very up and coming at that time, digital marketing. Now, obviously,
Right.
it's bread and butter for any brand. But at that time, we were really just setting up what digital marketing means for the company, and we got a fair bit of success there, and therefore then my role expanded. I got an opportunity to move to London and lead one of our large global digital transformation programs. I came back to India and set up a digital hub out here in Bangalore, which now services web production needs for markets and brands globally for Unilever. And then I got the opportunity to lead the GSK merger, which again, given it was India's largest FMCG merger, and
right.
probably for Unilever as well, the second largest. So if you see, I've kept moving, and every opportunity I've picked up something new. I've managed to pick up a new skill. I've managed to pick up a new area, and the organization really values the performance that you do. So
that's very important.
Absolutely, when they were taking me for the GSK role, nobody questioned the fact that I've never had M&A experience, right? Typically, a lot of people get, into that trap that you only need people with prior experience, etc. But whenever the right opportunities have opened up, the organization has really stepped up and supported in ensuring that I get some of those jobs, and that really adds value to the experience. And I think the second big factor, as a working mother now, which I really value, is just the flexibility that the organization gives. Both in terms of, much before COVID, we could work from home anytime. There are flexible working hours. Nobody expects you to sit on calls late. As long as you have the right alignment, you can even set times in the day when you want to do most of your calls. Obviously, post-COVID, things have changed a lot, but all of that flexibility has completely continued. And that's what I truly value as a working mother. For me, it's really important that the organization is completely understanding and supportive of my needs to be with my young child, sometimes my inability to travel to a certain location, etc. And that makes a huge difference. And not too many organizations that I know are able to stretch that much. And for me, that's like really, really important.
Very key points that you've shared, Shruti. You've also believed in taking a lot of risks, and challenging the status quo. So, getting out of your comfort zones and embracing a startup mentality. I read some of the stuff on your LinkedIn profile. What have been the results of such actions, Shruti? So how has that enabled your organization or your team, to benefit?
Absolutely. So, there's this one statement one of my, bosses made earlier. His name was Mark McLennan. He was my boss when I was in the UK. And he said that, Shruti, every time you choose to take a new role, ask yourself, does it give you the butterflies in the stomach? Ask yourself if you can keep your eyes closed and do it, right? What happens sometimes is that when you are in a comfort zone, and if you've handled an area for a long time, you tend to keep growing in that area, and you tend to keep getting your promotion. So you keep growing, and then you realize that actually there were opportunities that you may have missed out on. And to me, that's really the question I ask all the time. Every single time I got a new opportunity, when I took digital marketing, I knew nothing about it. But then it enabled me to almost think with that startup mentality, build my knowledge from scratch, and actually set something up for the organization. Likewise, the move to London was, I was moving by myself. I didn't have any family. It meant living away from family, etc. But I took that chance because I knew that, that was the right time for me to take that opportunity, and probably it wouldn't come again. And similarly, when the GSK project came up, and interestingly, again, what happened was that, I used to report to a VP, right? And when the GSK opportunity came up, I was asked to report to one of my peers, right? Now, typically, what people would say about something like this is that no way, why would you want to sort of downgrade yourself? Why would you want to report to another director? You want direct line of sight to a VP and so on. And again, I reached out to my mentors, and the advice I got was that sometimes organization structures are shitty, but you really need to value the experience that you're getting, and therefore experience trumps organization structure any day. And I took that chance. It was, yes, it did mean reporting to a peer, but the experience that I gained from working on that merger is incomparable to anything else I've done in the organization, right? So there are some of these, one, the risks that you take, but they only add value to your own knowledge, your own skill set. You broad base what you really broad base your horizons, and it makes you sort of a more well-rounded leader. So to me, taking risks and taking calculated risks is something very, very important. Especially, I've seen that women tend to shy away from it. Guys are much more open towards taking any job anywhere in the world. Women, at times get tied down by constraints, etc., and they tend to stay within their comfort zones. But the more risks you take, the more you are, putting yourself up and out there for opportunities, and the more you are building yourself as a leader.
More learning that you gain from the whole thing. How do you lead and inspire your team? So you've talked in terms of what is the what is the uniqueness about your behavior that attracts people towards you in terms of when you lead your team?
Sure. So I'll just give you a little bit of background. So at Unilever, we believe in this thing called purpose, right? We believe the organization needs to have purpose. We believe each and every brand that we sell in the market needs to have purpose. And we believe that every individual needs to have a purpose, right? And over the last couple of years, we've actually invested a lot of time in helping individuals, discover what their purpose is, right? And that's a very intense exercise because it takes you back, in a manner that you are doing today to your childhood days, and what incidents shaped you, and your disappointments and your successes, and what really motivates and drives you. And to me, my purpose is really to create impact for the people around me, right? And that manifests whether it's in my personal life or, at work. At personal life, it may mean creating impact for my family, for my son, the quality of life they live, or what I can do better for them. And then at work, it's equally about, ensuring that I am a coach and a guide for the team, and not, sort of an instructor who's coming and telling them what to do. So giving my team the freedom to operate the way they want. Equally, while, ensuring that I'm putting the people ahead of everything else. So at times, again, there is that trap that if somebody is good, you want to hang on to them really tight, and you don't let them, you don't release them to another team, or you don't let them go to experiments in another area. I always believe that we need to put the people first. If they are going to benefit with an experience in another team, I would be more than happy to let them go. And to me, that has what has really helped me build, this sort of network of people who trust me, and there is that mutual trust, and there is that team who can count on me, and equally I can count on them, and that mutual trust and respect is quite important. Because otherwise, if you come in with that mentality of you got to do this, you got to do that, and they become like order takers, then that trust and respect just doesn't exist, and then they look at you literally as a boss, and not as someone who can coach them and guide them and mentor them. So my approach has always been to put individuals first, to really understand the purpose of the team, what motivates them, what drives them, and making sure that I am essentially a guide to enable them to meet those objectives.
There's always that sense of belonging that arises of the people first, having a people first kind of an approach with team
Absolutely.
members. Right, Shruti, what do you enjoy doing in your free time, in the little free time that you would have? So any hobbies or interests that you pursue?
Sure. So one, I try to stay fit as much as possible. So 30 minutes at the end of the day, once my son goes off to sleep, I make sure that I do my yoga.
Okay.
And it's just like, for some people it's starting the day on a high. For me, it's more like ending the day on a high. And then the other thing is just something I picked up during the pandemic is painting. And
Right.
acrylics, watercolors. I'm just sort of dabbling my hand, very amateur. I literally just look at YouTube videos, but it just
on canvas. These paintings are on canvas, or
on canvas, yeah,
okay.
on canvas, and I put some of them up in the wall. But yeah, it just helps you sort of switch off and create, sort of get immersed in your own world of colors and imagination and so on. So I've been enjoying that a little bit. I'm heavily into books, not into Netflix, not into movies, none of that for me.
Okay.
Completely immersed into books, and these days I'm picking up a lot of biographies and autobiographies.
Which one is the recent that you have read?
The latest one I bought is actually Barack Obama and Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, the creator of Nike. So these are the two. I normally read two at a time together. So yeah.
Apart from your corporate mandate, Shruti, do you have something like a personal mission, something that you would like to do after you retire?
So like I said, my purpose is to create impact for people, and right now that set of people is limited to my immediate family and my team, right? And I think at some point, like you rightly said, you do tend to question a little bit around what are you doing for the wider community, society, and so on. I'm really passionate about the whole space of sustainability. And I'm trying to make, obviously, in my own way, trying to make a difference to sort of my carbon footprint on the environment. So I've stopped buying fast fashion. I've not done any shopping in the last couple of years. I'm embracing local artisans, which is why you're seeing me in a sari and so on. So I'm making sort of small changes at a personal level, but I feel that the need to do this is much wider and much broader at an organization level. And again, one of the reasons Unilever, I love working at Unilever, is because how much we embrace sustainability. Definitely something to do in that space. And I don't really know what exactly yet, but I'm beginning to now work with some NGOs like United Way India, who really look at some of these areas of early education and environment and so on and so forth. Just beginning to make some associations there, because I know the tick mark for some of us is easily that you donate money and you hope that it's being put to good use, but there's nothing like getting involved personally. So probably making something, doing something more meaningful for the wider society at some point would be the next step.
Right, very noble initiative, this that you spoke of. So good that there is some thought that goes behind these conscious decisions that we make, Shruti. Anything that you have missed out in this professional journey? Any regrets that you hold?
Absolutely. So I think I definitely missed out on the fun in my childhood and college days, because I was just way too hardworking and way too disciplined. I do feel that I should have, explored at least one area outside which I should have pursued, whether it was a sport, like I'm very fond of tennis, or whether it was a dance form, I'm very fond of, I started learning Bharatnatyam and so on. I feel that I should have invested a little more and sort of stuck with it for a longer time. So I feel that yes, in today's day and age, obviously, you see kids attending all sorts of classes, piano classes and ballet classes and swimming classes and so on. I feel that I probably missed out on that in my childhood, and should have done a little more of that.
So do you try to find out time for these for now? Or I'm sure that
I wish I had the time, but no, unfortunately, no. My 4-year-old and my work and just running the house just keeps me busy. But yeah, hopefully someday.
A final question before we wind up, Shruti. If not a tech leader, any other career or role that you would have undertaken?
I think I'm generally very creative, and I would have liked to pursue something on that sort of a path, something which is more creative rather than just being technology. Whether it was writing or whether it was storytelling or something of that sort, probably would have been the right alternate career for me.
Right, Shruti. It was a pleasure speaking with you on Cutting Chai Stories.
Absolutely so a pleasure as well, Ashwini. Thank you so much for having me. Wonderful to have it.